Hey, welcome to the Film Section podcast. We're on what is it, Ep.6 now. Ep.6. We're going strong. I'm Chris.
And I'm Mark.
All right, today we're talking about Lords of Salem, the Rob Zombie movie. If we had people commenting, I'm sure they'd hate this, because every time someone hears Rob Zombie, they're mortified.
Yeah.
Which aside from I'm gonna say 2 movies, maybe. I just don't see the issue. I don't see the issue.
I will admit that a lot of his movies sort of have a sameness to them. It does feel, or at least a lot of his movies do feel very kind of white trash, middle America, like southern states sort of thing.
Man likes him some Grindhouse.
Yeah, which is interesting for this movie because I would say the Lords of Salem is his most different movie than any of his other ones.
This is farthest away from anything he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was this, and then it was, I believe, it might have been 31, which goes right back into the sameness.
Yeah. Which is, it's interesting, so this movie came out in 2013, written and directed by Rob Zombie in 2013. So this only came out 3 years after Halloween 2, I think.
Yeah, wait. The first one came out in 2007, right?
Right. So maybe it was a couple more years.
I think the second one was 2009. So yeah, you're pretty young.
All right, so like 3 or 4 years then.
Yeah.
Until Lords of Salem. And it's interesting because the movie had a budget of $1.5 million. The movie's box office, $1.5 million. This movie made zero money.
That budget back.
Movie made zero money. And then, when you think about the cost of like marketing and stuff, really the movie lost money.
It lost money, yeah, definitely.
And it's just interesting when I go on like IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic or any of those, reviews for this movie are not good. People hated this movie.
That's crazy.
It's so interesting because when you watch so many Rob Zombie movies, and the main critique I think that you get out of them is all the characters feel very white trash. Everyone's swearing, everyone's screaming. And then he puts Sherry Moon Zombie in every single role of his movies. And she plays a very similar character. She's usually like a very like fiery, spontaneous, strange person in like every single one of her movies. And so when this movie comes out and it's so much more subdued than all of his other ones, it's so much quieter, there's so much more emphasis on creating an atmosphere, and the cinematography is so much different. Like everything about this movie is done differently, and yet it still gets hate. It still gets terrible reviews.
I think if Rob Zombie's name was not on this, you wouldn't, or if he didn't put his name on this but did it, people would have no idea it was him.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because the movie
far off from everything else he had done.
Oh yeah, I mean, where so many of his movies are like, as you said, are very kind of grindhouse flicks. Kind of. His movies feel like they're, kind of part of that like 70s exploitation sort of movement, where Lords of Salem feels almost esoteric in some ways, where it's kind of ambiguous. There's a lot of symbolism. Its editing is so much different than a lot of his other movies. So it's just interesting when you look at Rob Zombie's catalog and you notice this movie that is so much different from all of his other ones, yet is still shit on by the general audience.
I wish that he would do more movies like this.
Oh, definitely. So the movie is about Sherry Moon Zombie, who plays a character named Heidi, and Heidi is a radio DJ for a Salem, Massachusetts radio station. And one night while yeah, and one night while or after they complete their radio broadcast, as they're leaving, Heidi, or Sherry Moon's character, gets a vinyl record from a group that simply is called the Lords. And the weird thing about this record is that when Sherry Moon plays it and plays it on the radio station, it seems to have some sort of weird effect on the women of Salem.
Mm-hmm. Did you notice that when I think it was the night, I think it was before, because she took the record home,
mm-hmm.
and she was jamming out with that other guy, the other
Jeff Daniel Phillips' character.
Yeah, fucking Whitey. Yeah, that was his name, Whitey. So they go to. I just to see if you notice his touch. They go to play that record, and it keeps. He's like, "Oh, I think I ruined the needle." He couldn't get it to play, but she walks over and sets it, and she's like, "Oh, there you."
Yeah,
like she could do it.
Yeah, and then it's also interesting. The first time they play that record, there's a lighting change where they're just in a dark apartment, and once she plays that record, it's all red lighting.
Yep.
And it's so interesting how the color palette of this movie really kind of has a big part. Is very integral in like setting up the mood and setting up the atmosphere of these different shots.
Like when it is right in the beginning when she comes out of the apartment, and there's someone standing at that apartment at the end, and and it's the red lighting from inside the apartment, and she's like, "Hey, who moved into 5? I just met the new tenant. They slammed the door." But she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah. So it already in within these first 15 minutes you get it instantly feels like a different movie than any other Rob Zombie film. It's so much quieter. There's no real yelling except for like some witches that appear more in like dream sequences than anything else. But it's so much quieter. The filming, where in a lot of Rob Zombie movies, specifically Halloween, he uses a lot of shaky cam. Almost every single one of these shots in Lords of Salem is all steady camera. They're all on a tripod, and it's all very stable. So it's just really interesting. And as you said earlier, this is Sherry Moon's best acting, hands down.
Absolutely. She's very subdued. She's playing someone totally different. She's a vulnerable, recovering drug addict. They touch pretty well later in the movie on that. So what they play it, they do play the record on the radio station because they have a segment called Smash or Trash with something that they've never heard before. And then I would say, I mean, from the time they play the record, not even on the radio station, but the time before that, the shit starts getting weird.
Yeah. Because it's after, I want to say it's after they play the record the first time, at about 20 minutes into the movie, is our first scare where Heidi, Sherry Moon's character, is like taking her dog and they're going to bed. And as she walks past her like doorway or kitchen or something, you see one of the witches just standing there.
Oh yeah.
And there's no jump scare. There's no like zoom in on the witch or anything like that. It's just, she's just standing there, and that's all, and that's all there is about it. Which is really interesting. And it's more than anything, this movie shows restraint.
It does happen again. She's like she's like, oh, talking to the lady, and then she's like, hey, I gotta feed my dog, and then I'll come back. Oh, when they ask her to come down to have a drink, she's like, oh, let me feed my dog real quick. Goes up there, she turns on the kitchen light right up in the corner.
She's like standing on her counter, and it's ugly, naked, scary looking witch.
Yes, Meg Foster from They Live.
Yes. But again, that's how it's almost how all the scares in this movie are, is that they're not jump scares. It's not something that's like jumping right out at you. No. It's not something that's calling a lot of attention. So what these scares do more than anything else are just create sort of this sense of tension and kind of this like foreboding feeling throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, because there's like you said, there's no jump scares. It just kind of like hits you with a visual and kind of unsettles you. Not gonna lie. There's a lot of the visuals that are they're a bit disturbing, and don't rely on the cheap shit. They give it to you.
Oh yeah,
Rob gives it to you in this. Yeah.
So the movie's almost a little difficult to describe, in the sense that after Sherry Moon's character finds this vinyl record and they play it, they have this almost historian on the Salem witch trials who's played by Bruce Davidson, and he is the only one that essentially knows what this record is, and sort of what
I like this guy.
He's definitely got a bad feeling or a knowledge about what this record is and sort of the evil that it's kind of going to unleash. And so he comes to the radio station, listens to the vinyl, and then basically has like a fascination with it. And when he goes home to see his wife is like, I recorded the whole like radio broadcast or whatever. And he's like, all right, I need to listen to it again because I need to hear whatever this song is from this group called the Lords, which they end up calling the Lords of Salem.
Yeah.
Which, again, this guy, I don't know his name in the movie, but Bruce Davidson's character, again, really, really different from any other Rob Zombie character, where he's a very normal, knowledgeable, nice guy. You know, he's a very likable character.
He plays what the character is. He doesn't like turn it up. There's no like ramping it up. Like, he plays it straight. It sucks because I do forget his name in the movie, and I'm trying to think of that scene later when he goes to talk to her, and they have like they sit him down for tea, because he definitely says his name so many times in this movie.
Yeah,
because he's out there. The subplot of this movie is him out there trying to figure this out, and because he introduces himself to so many people and he fucking says his name, and now it's pissing me off because I don't remember it. I just watched it a couple hours ago. So stupid. Yeah, dude, this is like, I don't usually get into the subplot of a movie a lot, because a lot of times in movies, especially in horror, a subplot gets lost and there's really never any finality to it. Yeah. But I was really into what this dude was doing. He had found a book, or he had a book. It was by this guy, and he went to go visit that guy to figure out like, is there anything else to add to this? Like, I've figured this part out, but like, what more do you have on John Hawthorne, which was the man who was executing witches during the Salem witch trials.
Right.
That part, dude, that stuff was really cool. Like, I really enjoyed, like, later in the movie, the dude gets killed, and I was pretty pissed off about it. I fucking like that guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how much guess, lore that Rob Zombie puts into this movie, where there is a lot of, whether it's 100% historically accurate is one thing, but he does put in a lot of lore about Salem and about the witch trials and about, what these women kind of went through when they were, when they were killed and put in prison and all this stuff. Which, I mean, even down to the dialogue, it's like this movie isn't really very vulgar.
No, I was gonna say that too when we were describing how most of his movies are. Like, I don't feel like there was a lot of profanity in this movie whatsoever.
No,
there's way more nudity than profanity.
Yeah, which, I mean, Rob Zombie in general has a really weird thing with nudity in his movies. Where,
Okay, bye. Over there.
where the way he decides to show nudity is very strange. Because it's either, because like when you look at Halloween and you have like Danielle Harris's character who gets killed or almost killed by Michael Myers, she's naked, but then, so it's like, I understand you're trying to bring the horror to it, and then you have Lords of Salem, where there's lots of old naked women.
I noticed. Okay, but this is what I noticed as like, oh my gosh, here we go again. Is recurring in his movies is none of the nudity is beautiful.
It's always kind of gross.
Even when it's not like, I mean, it's not an old lady, which people, I mean, whatever, probably don't want to look at. It's not something that they seek out. I mean, some people maybe that's that's your Pornhub history. But when you brought up the Danielle Harris thing, like, yeah, she was completely naked, but she was also covered in blood and dirt and cuts. And I feel like it's like that in most, in pretty much all his movies. There's no like pure beautiful nudity. Like,
yeah,
even in Halloween when he kills his sister and the dude, the backdrop and the lighting and the atmosphere is so grimy.
Yeah,
like,
there's never like a real kind of like, weird as it is, like there's never like a sexual quality about the nudity. It's always very kind of gross. It's always kind of grimy. It's always very like, especially in Halloween, it seems like it's more so shown or used to show like vulnerability.
Yep.
Whereas in this, it seems like the nudity almost in this movie is sort of almost like a sense of like empowerment, where it does feel a little bit of a feminist kind of movie. I mean, the movie even opens up with Sherry Moon Zombie just naked on her bed.
Yeah.
A
lot of obsession with her butt in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just Rob Zombie admiring his wife or if that's,
do your thing, Rob.
Yeah.
I admired it too, bro. Good for you. Good for you, Rob. Good for you.
I did want to talk about the score of this movie. So the song that is used in this movie, which is provided by the Lords of Salem, is one of the weirdest, interesting theme songs, horror music songs I think I've heard in any movie.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds very unnatural.
Yeah. I will say this, his excessive use of like 70s Southern rock was not very much on display here. Like, you heard a little snippet of a couple songs, but they were snippets. It wasn't like fucking Mike Myers came home from school and fucking got bullied and they're like, love hurts.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
It was very much in the background, and this like theme, the song from this album, and then just the score in general took precedence over like him throwing in songs that he liked or whatever.
Oh yeah, it wasn't as much about the needle drops as it was about incorporating the music in a way to like build the tension and build the atmosphere.
What was also cool to me was the movie had a sense of being a Rob Zombie music video, but very subdued, to where like you notice when like they're just like she's hanging out with that the other radio station guy, or she's by herself. They're watching like those old black and white
Yeah.
horror or like a crime movie, like just something weird,
Mm-hmm.
which I
Yeah.
thought was a cool touch.
Yeah, it isn't really until the end of the movie where it kind of goes full Rob Zombie.
Oh yeah.
Where so again, so as this movie's kind of going around, Sherry Moon Zombie's character is kind of like losing herself more and more every day. She's kind of her emotional well-being seems to be kind of taking a toll as each day is going by.
Yeah, thanks to these 3 old women.
Yeah, who are
that are fucking nefarious from the beginning, like just
yeah.
weak as hell. What if she goes to have tea with them and they're reading her palm and asking her weird shit? These ladies are out of control, sir. They're very like they could be so nice and then turn at the drop of a dime. Like they're very nice and you're like, oh, these nice old ladies, and then they're fucking intimidating as hell.
Oh yeah, and they're very mean and cruel to the men, to the historian and to the Jeff Daniel Phillips' character, the guy from the radio station.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very cruel to both of them, and they're almost like overly protective of Sherry Moon's character because obviously they know that she's basically like a daughter of Salem.
Yeah. We find out later. Yeah, as we do go on, yeah, the imagery and the sense of her losing grip on reality or her sanity is more and more prevalent. There are things that happen that you're like, wow, is this happening? And then it's like a dream. And she doesn't even know if it's happening. Like it takes you through the journey, which is really cool. So yeah, the subplot with this guy, this author that was plugging his book on the radio, he is slowly figuring this out, what is actually happening, and then he finds out that she is he goes on like one of those DNA websites and uses it to look up her family tree, and she's a direct descendant of that John Hawthorne guy. And then that puts him into like it's time to get it on. And then he shows up, he calls first, and they're in the middle of getting her prepped up. Like, oh, frightfully rude of you to call at this hour. Never call again. And so then he what was he gonna do? He told his wife that he was gonna go down to the museum that he works at. He works at a wax museum. And instead, he stops at Sherry Moon Zombie's apartment, and basically now these women are like, yeah, we take care of Heidi, blah, blah. Like, oh, I don't think she's going to see anyone. But hey, why don't you come in for some tea? And immediately they just start coming at him. Just coming for him. But also being nice, because they undercut each other. It's so funny. Like, one of them will be being a complete asshole. And they're like, hey, just leave him alone. We're going to have some tea now. Like, all 3 of these women were great, including one was Dee Wallace. Who was howling fucking everything in the 80s. She was the mom to the kid in Cujo. She's fantastic. And then they know he knows too much. Gotta whack him with the cast iron pan. Took his ass out. He was, and then you find out that after they kill him, like, oh, he was such a nice guy, but he couldn't have known they couldn't do anything about it now.
Yeah.
That's Greek.
Yeah. And so it is then at around this time where there's there's like a notice that the Lords of Salem are going to be coming, are going to be like playing in some like theater, amphitheater type place.
Yep.
And so when you get to the theater where the music is playing, this is towards the end of the movie now. There's again, it's only like a few women from Salem who basically resonate with whatever this song is on like a different level than everyone else.
Essentially, I feel like they were women that were listening to the station when they played the song.
Yeah, but I also feel like the song has some sort of power in it because the man's wife, who's she's like Hispanic or whatever, she's not affected by the song at all.
Yeah.
So it's like only like the women of Salem.
In the beginning, she was like, I listened to the whole thing, and then if you hear when he sits down with them and is talking to them,
Mm-hmm.
he tells them, "Oh yeah, my wife's not from here. She's Venezuelan." And so then I think they knew like they had to take care of him.
Yeah,
because his wife wasn't going to take care of him because she wasn't from there. What does she care?
Yeah. So then when so you're in this theater where these witches are basically starting to kind of form on stage, where they're just kind of showing up. And then so they're on the theater, and then when you look up in the balcony, that's where Sherry Moon's character is, and she's kind of like tripping out a little bit, and that's where the movie basically goes into full Rob Zombie mode for the last 20 minutes of the movie.
This is a fucking scene and a half.
It's a trip.
Naked women with fucking bird masks on or whatever the fuck.
Weird demon-looking creatures all over.
There's blood.
And then Sherry Moon's character. Sherry Moon's character gives birth to something. Some sort of weird-looking creature.
Yeah, because clearly she got fucked by the goblin earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
Little weird ass goblin creature. It looked like the troll from the original Troll movie. This scene is full of imagery. Whew.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by this movie feels. It feels sort of like a really weird, like esoteric kind of art house, almost like a student like college film sort of thing, where and not in like the bad way, but in the way that like they're trying to shove so much symbolism and so much at your face, and it's cool, but I can understand at this point why there's people that are like, I don't like this movie because of this one scene where it's very crazy. The color palette is super weird. There's witches screaming. There's naked witches running all around. And Sherry Moon Zombie is giving birth to like a demon tree looking thing.
Yeah, and then she's shrouded by light with her eyes whited out, and she's wearing some religious garb and a crown, and
it's it's almost like a satanic Mary sort of thing.
Yes, yeah, that was insane. And then around that, all those women killed themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like an elaborate sacrifice, honestly.
It was where it's a little weird because I for me, when it got to the end of the movie, I'm like, all right, so I kind of get it, but I don't get it, because it's like I get that, the witches and the Lords of Salem are obviously like back and are in charge or whatever, but it's still kind of like I don't Like, I don't get why like Sherry Moon had to like straddle a goat and all this stuff and like some of the imagery.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe just for weirdness. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Like I'm thinking Rob Zombie was like, all right, I'm gonna do like this all mean stuff, and then I'm also gonna do like the white horse stuff that I did in Halloween 2, where I just think it looks cool, so I'm gonna put it in.
I honestly thought that movie was trolling the studio.
Halloween 2?
Yeah, because he was like, I very much remember him not wanting to do it. And I feel like
Oh,
they
yeah.
just gave him a bunch of money and he was like, all right, you want a Halloween 2 from me? I didn't even want to do it, but here you go. I feel like he was trolling.
Oh yeah. Well, the only reason why he did Halloween 2 was because they told him that he would get full creative control. And the white horse was literally just like he was driving down the road one day, saw a white horse, and was like, "That looks cool. I'm gonna put it in my movie."
All
And
right,
also,
Rob.
apparently, John Carpenter fucking hates him. Like,
Wow.
yeah, there was like the articles or whatever of Rob Zombie saying that like he talked to John Carpenter and John Carpenter was like, you're fine, just do your own thing and everything. And then John Carpenter saw the Halloween movies. We're like, this is trash. Fuck this guy. And like basically John Carpenter just hates Rob Zombie.
John Carpenter doesn't do anything but smoke weed and play Xbox. He out here giving his opinion.
It was his movie.
I wish I could live that man's life, bro.
Yeah.
He gets zooted, gets on stage and puts all the trippy lights on and just fucking looks happy as a fucking horse, a pig in shit, fucking playing his little keyboard, playing his little Halloween themes. Like jamming, dude. And I fucking love it. Good for him, man. Dude's like 80, out there blazing it up, doing shit he loves. Like he never sold himself out, you know?
No, never once. He is definitely he's got a lot of integrity.
He never sold himself out, and the man's set for his whole life. Like he's been set. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's amazing what happens when you stand by your convictions. You know, man made the thing and it bombed.
Yeah.
One of the greatest fucking movies of all time. One of the greatest horror movies of all time.
So what I guess let's go into the negatives first this time. What was the things about Lords of Salem that you didn't like?
It probably could have focused a little more on the outside stuff rather than Sherry Moon laying around looking sick. There was it felt like it was like a lot of that.
Yeah.
Which if you showed me a couple times, I get it. I know what's happening, but it seemed to focus a lot on that as opposed to the outside stuff, which was very interesting to me, the author. They probably could have did a little more with that with the radio host character. Like he was clearly hung up on her.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They could have had a little more of that instead of Sherry Moon Zombie dying. Shout out to Ken Foree, who's a fucking badass in everything he does.
He was really underutilized in this movie.
Who is literally only known for Dawn of the Dead, but that guy's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
He was very underrated in this movie. He didn't get to say anything like he was Big Joe Grizzly. That was literally my favorite part of that movie.
I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch. Yeah.
He's like, man, I just ate a fucking big ass burrito. You were trying to come in here, dude. That was like my favorite part of that movie. I'm not even gonna lie.
A good part.
And I like that movie. I don't like part 2. I like that one though. I like lots of people hate Halloween. Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, but I don't. I mean, I don't hate. I don't like it. I'm in the middle about it. Like, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. You know.
I mean, I like both of them. If I watch the first Halloween, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna go and watch Halloween 2 just because I'm almost like a completist like that. Where it's like if I see the first one, I might as well watch the second one.
Are you talking about the originals?
No, I'm talking about the Rob Zombie ones.
Oh, okay, dude. Call them fucking police.
I don't know. I mean,
I
so
like the original. I like to do the original two back to back because it takes place on like the same night. But
yeah,
I mean, Rob Zombie Halloween 2 also does that, but I think the OG 1 and 2 are probably leaps and bounds better than both those movies.
oh yeah, I mean, that's for sure.
If I see it's on or something, I'll fucking watch it. Yeah, part 2, the first fucking like 20 minutes of that movie, I loved.
When it's a Halloween 2 remake.
When he's fucking going into the hospital, like the way that's shot, the way it looks, everything about it. I love that whole first 20 minutes.
Mm.
I don't care that it didn't stay taking place in a hospital. Why would I want that?
Yeah.
The real positive I can give him is that he made Halloween the way he wanted to make Halloween, and he didn't just copy.
Yeah.
I mean, the last half of the first one is a fucking absolute remake, but everything before that, which is what is this, almost a 2-hour movie, was original, and I was fine with it.
Fix your sound.
What's wrong with it?
I don't know. You sound like you're like underwater or something. But so yeah, I mean, with you on like your negatives for the movie, I'm kind of there too. I think the only other negative that I would have is that I do kind of wish that the movie sort of had a more consistent pace, where the movie starts off a little bit slow, little dreary, very atmospheric, and then once you get to about 2/3 of the way through the movie, it kicks into this like super trippy fever dream kind of overdrive, but the movie doesn't feel like it's going any faster. It still feels like it's going this slow, but it's just getting weirder and weirder, which I think there should have been a little bit more of like a build or something with it.
Okay. Yeah.
But really that's my only negative.
Yeah, I don't have much negative to say about this movie at all.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing about this movie though is definitely the cinematography. This movie just looks and feels so much different than any of Rob Zombie's other movies, and I've been to New England a couple of times now, and he's got a really good like gray, cold New England, like old New England feel to this movie that I really like.
It's definitely fall.
Mm-hmm.
It's the location is fucking fantastic. Everything I saw on the outside was fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I like everything on the outside, every fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean, it really looked. I mean, these look like old 1800s New England houses.
Yeah.
So out of 10, what would you rate this?
I'm gonna give this 7.
7. It's fair. Yeah. It's fair. I'd probably give it like a 7.5 or 8, just because this is like my favorite Rob Zombie movie. And it is just like, it's moody as fuck, which I love movies like that. Where the color palette is, insane. The fact that there's a lot of wide shots in this movie, which is something that for Rob Zombie is not something he does very often. It's just a great change of pace.
Mm-hmm. This is a solid second in my list of favorite Rob Zombie movies.
Mhm.
Uh, Clearly, the first is Devil's Rejects.
Okay.
Um, I think at that point, because it was House of a Thousand Corpses, then Devil's Rejects, that he couldn't have had a more different look to a movie. Like in
Yeah.
the case of those characters coming out of House of a Thousand Corpses would straight up look like a Grindhouse movie. Like this movie looks Grindhouse, but it's shot like a movie.
Yeah.
Like the characters look way more real. They're not hokey. I mean, they're hokey, but in a real dark fucking way in this movie.
Mhm.
But I took it more seriously. Like
Yeah.
when they're in the house all together, it seemed very campy, and like they were just making jokes all the time. But in this one, I mean, it was dark, but this one felt especially dark because it felt more real.
Yeah. Are you talking about Lords of Salem or Devil's Rejects?
Devil's Rejects.
Yeah. I mean, why don't we get into sort of our favorite and least favorite Rob Zombie movies and moments and stuff then?
My bad. I kind of did seg into that without
No,
saying.
no, you're fine. Devil's Rejects is it's a crazy movie. It's not a oddly enough, I can watch House of a Thousand Corpses multiple times. Devil's Rejects is not a movie I can revisit a lot. Like
Yeah.
House of a Thousand Corpses has kind of this. There's an entertainment sort of to it where it's so zany and crazy and colorful and musical. Where Devil's Rejects is very raw and very brutal.
It's very hard. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like House of a Thousand Corpses, and I guess I can see why. But like the weirdest thing to me about House of a Thousand Corpses is how it feels like it's two movies. Because you get first half, you get the psychos, and everybody's yelling about Dr. Satan. And then you get the Dr. Satan half, which absolutely feels like a completely different movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like at first it's what I didn't like about it, but I think I really like that about it.
Yeah. I mean the like House of a Thousand Corpses to me is like is the House of a Thousand Corpses is like the fever dream, and then Devil's Rejects is like you getting out of that fever dream and realizing that like you've been like running around on bath salts for the last week.
Yeah. Yes, very much so. Man, the look of fucking Dr. Satan is sweet. You got fucking Dwight from The Office. You got who's that other guy? Oh, Chris Hardwick. That motherfucker was the host of Singled Out on MTV back in the day. And then obviously the Nerdist stuff, like he's huge.
Mm-hmm.
That dude fucking ruled. I really like that movie too. It's third, but I like it a lot. Like I've said this a million times, but like when Rob Zombie does original movies and not remakes, he does a solid fucking job.
Yeah,
aside from Halloween 2.
You know, it's weird because it's like I watch the Halloween movies and I'll watch Devil's Rejects and I'll watch House of a Thousand Corpses. Or scratch that. I'll watch House of a Thousand Corpses. I'll watch Devil's Rejects. And then I'll watch Halloween and I'll be like, why the fuck didn't this guy make a Texas Chainsaw remake?
Yeah, I feel like
if anyone was to do it, he would have been perfect.
Absolutely. Why they keep rebooting it, why they haven't asked this fucking guy to do it,
right,
is insane. You're absolutely right.
House of a Thousand Corpses to me feels like a mix between the first Texas Chainsaw and Texas Chainsaw Next Generation. Like it's so crazy and the characters are so just like screaming at the screen and everything.
Texas Chainsaw The Next Generation. What a piece of shit, but I love it.
It's such a bad movie.
It's so bad, but I've watched it way more than once, dude. Dude, I like 3 and 4 a lot. Like 3 is my favorite Texas Chainsaw. I love 3. Well, no, I don't know if I want to say it's my favorite because the first one is
The
fucking
first one's
fan.
still my favorite. Yeah.
First, third, second, fourth, and then that's it for that because there's so many other fucking people that have tried to do this. But like in that original run there, I like the first, I like the third, I like the second, and I like the fourth.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I like the 2003 remake that they did. That's actually really good. But,
yeah, it wasn't bad. That movie wasn't bad at all, no.
But again, it's like Texas Chainsaw. When I watched the original Texas Chainsaw, it's like this movie is tailor made for Rob Zombie to remake. Like it is exactly his style, his tone, his everything. Why they had him remake a fucking John Carpenter movie makes no sense.
Rob Zombie, like, it's like they knew Rob Zombie was gonna be born and like this kind of character, and it's the fucking cop in the remake, the fucking guy from Full Metal Jacket. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, you're frozen.
I'm frozen.
Yeah, I can hear you, but like your picture's frozen.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, everything's still good on my end.
It's weird. Like my shit's good. You're like frozen, scratching your fucking head.
I don't know. I mean, everything looks good on my side, your side, and my side. Sorry to anyone listening about this.
Oh, there you are. Hi. All right. So anyway, my bad. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh, Rob Zombie. It's like Rob Zombie was born, and they fucking they got down the line and like, we need this guy in the 2003 remake. If there was a Rob Zombie character ever, it's that old man from fucking Full Metal Jacket who plays the cop in this movie. That's like linked to fucking Sawyer's, bro. He just screams and swears. Like that's a Rob Zombie character.
Oh yeah.
And he's the only one I can think of that could match the look of a remake that is closest to the original.
Oh yeah. I mean, what, like 100%. And so so when I think of my least favorite Rob Zombie movies, which would probably be like Halloween 2 and 31. I see just missed opportunity with it, where I'm like, you got the wrong guy. Like it shouldn't have been Halloween. Even though I can watch both of them and enjoy them, I'll still watch both of them and I'll be like, you got the wrong fucking guy to make these movies.
Yeah.
Like it never should have, like Rob Zombie, even though to me they're not bad, Rob Zombie never should have made these. It's not his movie. And it's interesting because it's like when I watch Lords of Salem, it's like, okay, how come Rob Zombie didn't do this? Because this kind of tone would have worked for a Halloween remake.
Agreed. Yeah.
But he didn't. He decided to go white trash.
You know what my least favorite Rob Zombie movies are? 31 and Devil's Rejects 2.
3 from Hell?
Yeah, 3 from Hell. Yeah, whatever.
I still haven't seen 3 from Hell yet. I heard it just got dogged on by everyone.
It's not good, dude. It's pretty bad. It's still, to me, is better than that fucking 31 movie. That thing was fucking stupid.
Yeah, 31 was just not good.
Except for Richard Brake. He was great.
I don't know. 31 is just it. It starts weird, it stays weird, and it ends weird. And the whole time, I don't have any fun watching it.
There's like a midget Adolf Hitler chasing people. It's fucking batshit, and I hate it.
Yeah, it's terrible. Oh my god, What do you think the Munsters is going to be like? How do you think Rob Zombie is going to approach the Munsters?
Dude, he's gonna play it straight as fuck.
You think?
It's gonna be the Munsters, bro, and it's gonna be incredible.
I have my worries. I'm not going to lie. I am optimistic because he is clearly a huge Munsters fan,
He's a huge Munsters fan. Huge.
but I'm just like, when I look at Jeff Daniel Phillips as Herman, and in that picture, I'm just like, you look like a fucking goon, and then
He looks like an idiot.
he looks like a fucking goon. He's so dumb looking.
The only thing that was gonna throw me from watching this was if that casting came out and Bill Moseley was Grandpa, because then I knew that it wasn't even gonna be funny. It was just gonna be fucking Grandpa swearing and just throwing a fit the whole movie.
Yeah.
Which I fucking love Bill Moseley, dude. But if that was gonna happen, I was gonna check out of this Monsters thing. But I'm glad they didn't do that. I'm sure though all those usual cast of characters, maybe we'll get Danny Trejo out to be in the movie.
I'm sure he'll do something.
Maybe Malcolm McDowell will pop up. Like he keeps people having work, like people that are in the caliber of Michael Berryman or Ken Foree. You know what I mean? Like keeps getting them paid for little ass shit.
I mean, it's very obvious, that he's he's a filmmaker that keeps kind of the same crew around him. I mean, like a lot of filmmakers do. I mean, look at Scorsese and De Niro and stuff like that. It's like they've always got kind of the same core people that go with them with every movie.
Yeah.
But no, I just look at the stupid fucking face that Jeff Daniel Phillips is making in that Herman Munster picture, and I'm just like, you look dumb. And Sherry Moon sitting next to him, and she's got that really bad wig on. And I'm just like, you look kind of weird too. And then the grandpa's got this really weird, like, fucking like Colonel Mustard mustache sort of thing. Yeah, and it's like, all right. Like,
he's got the Colonel Mustard.
It's like, you guys, I'm holding out hope, but you guys look real fucking bad right now. Like, that picture is not flattering for anyone.
Eddie Munster is going to be that kid who played fucking young Michael.
Dude, the kid who played young Michael is like my age now.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember I don't think they brought him back because he fucking like.
He got too old.
He turned into a man after like 2 years.
Yeah. He grew up. He like, because it was 2 years and they were like, well, he's not a short, chubby blonde kid. He's like this really tall, he looks like a heroin addict kind of, but like he's like super skinny, got super long greasy hair, is like this like dirty little like beach fuzz sort of thing. But yeah, like he's like my age or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I don't know. Watch Rob Zombie put like Finn Wolfhard or something as like Eddie Munster.
You know what my favorite thing about his Halloween movies are? Those like epic documentaries he puts in the special features.
Yeah, it was a 2-hour long documentary.
Yeah, those are incredible, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I bought like a while ago. They had, I think it was Halloween. It was I think it was the first one they put out, like this like special cut or something, and it had 2 discs, and the documentary was on. That's the reason I bought it.
Yeah, that's the copy of Halloween that I have is like it's like the director's cut collector's edition, like steelbook, and it has the 2 discs where it's got the movie and then it's got the documentary and all this stuff like that.
That shit's great, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I recommend it. People could probably find it on YouTube now, but any movie he drops, he puts a documentary on there, and it's pretty fucking in depth.
Yeah, it's easier. Oddly enough, it's easier to find the director's cut of Halloween and Halloween 2 than it is to find the theatrical cut of Halloween 2, at least.
Wow.
Yeah, which is really weird.
Very odd.
Especially because the director's cut of Halloween 2 is it's rough, to say the least.
That movie's rough without a director's cut. Let's be real.
Yeah.
You love it, I understand, but
well, no, and then the director's cut of Halloween, also the first one, which is again, it's easier to find the director's cut of Halloween than it is to find the theatrical cut.
Shit's like 100 years long.
Yeah, it's long, and there's certain scenes like Michael breaking out of the hospital is a lot different in the theatrical cut than it is in the director's cut. A lot different.
Yeah, Danny Trejo thought he was his friend.
Well, also there's like the vicious rape scene in the director's cut that's not in the theatrical cut.
And those two fucking guards are in there. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
They bring him into Michael's room, which is like, why?
About that.
Yeah.
They were hazing Mike.
Yeah.
They were hazing him. He was like, "You're old enough now. It's college. It's time to learn about college, Mike."
Jesus.
This is completely normal. We go get girls and we rape them in front of people that haven't spoken a word in 20 years.
Yeah, pretty much. And then I think it's even though it's not meant to be like funny or anything like that.
No, it's fucked up.
When during the scene in Halloween where Michael Myers kills Danny Trejo's character, I can't help but laugh because Danny Trejo just keeps going, "I was good to you, Mikey," just over and over and over. Just like, "I was good to you, Mikey."
Whenever I heard him say Mikey, it made me laugh, honestly.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Oh my god. Yeah, dude, that fucking, now that you're bringing up director's cut shit, that shit was fucked up, dude. And it's like they did that like it was something they did all the time too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, two dudes were out of control.
There's what? Oh, yeah.
All right, there we go. Somebody was calling me. Sorry. Fucking yeah, and it's insane. It's a very mean-spirited scene.
Oh yeah,
I was just laughing. I was just laughing at the fact that that Mikey was going to college or something. That shit was, I mean, the rest of it wasn't funny, but goddamn, these two dudes, like fucking like two wild cards. They're in there doing drugs. Like, what are they doing? They're in there doing drugs and shit too. Like,
well,
it was fucked.
Yeah, it was just like the trashiest, like most just disgusting scene, and it's like it's like, I understand if you want to make this like world seem like a brutal and bad place, but it's like, do you really need these two orderlies like raping this girl in Michael's room just for fun?
It doesn't need to be as gratuitous. It doesn't need to be gratuitous as it was, for sure.
Yeah, and then it's like
we could have gotten. They could have just not showed it because we already had the idea of what the fuck they were gonna do.
Yeah, and then also it's like like as the viewer, it's like you root for Michael like really quickly in this scene because he obviously kills these guys, you know. But then right afterwards, he goes and he kills Danny Trejo, and it's like, what?
Like, this is how you know he don't feel for nobody.
Yeah, but I don't know. Again, it's just like a scene like that. It's like you don't need. Where I had that problem with so many Rob Zombie's movies, where it's like, why did you need this? Like in Devil's Rejects, there's like the scene where like I think like Sharon Moon Zombie is like mooning like some of the people, and it's like, why is this a part of the movie? You don't need it because like in like 5 minutes they like skin this woman's face and wear it as a mask. So it's like, why? So it's like, why are you gonna have something so intense, but like 5 minutes before you're gonna have Sherry Moon Zombie mooning the camera?
I don't Yeah. What? Oh, you know what? We talked about this last week, and we gotta bring it up now. Like, what are your go-tos like during the Halloween season? Like, what movies do you go like every year? You like, okay, I got these out. I'm definitely gonna watch these during this month, sometime in this month.
Um, well, my I don't know actually. I probably should have thought about this. Well, here while I'm thinking, what are some of yours?
I like to watch the Monster Squad. Uh, One we're gonna talk about next week, House of the Devil. Um, I definitely watched the original Halloween
Mhm.
because that I think captures fall the best out of any horror movie. I mean, Part 4 did a pretty good job too, but
Mhm.
it's not Part 1. What else? Actually, I like to watch like the Universal Monsters stuff,
Mhm. Okay.
like Frankenstein and stuff like that. I definitely bust those out. Uh, what else? Oh, I like I like to watch the Night of the Creeps.
Okay. Okay.
Night of the Creeps is my jam. It's a lot of older stuff.
Right. Um, so I guess for me, um, Friday the 13th Part 3, the one where Jason actually gets his mask.
Yes,
That's I mean that's just
that's
my
good.
favorite Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah,
Um, and
that's a bold choice.
it is. I don't know. I think it's the most fun. It obviously, it's the one where he gets his mask. It's the
Yeah,
3D, so that's really funny. Beetlejuice is obviously a big one that I love watching during like the Halloween season. Um,
perfect.
I think Beetlejuice is just so much fun. Um, uh, oh, fuck, I just had it. I do. You're probably gonna hate me for this, but I do love to watch the 1990 It miniseries. Um,
To be disappointed, just like you were with the new fucking mini series.
no, because I love it, all of it. I love the 1991. I love Chapter One. I love Chapter Two. It's all amazing.
They
Um,
they they won by bullying him.
yeah, that's fine.
They won
And
by
little baby
bullying.
Pennywise is like, and it's
No,
amazing. Yeah,
oh
um,
no, no, it's not.
it's amazing. Um,
No,
um, Pet Cemetery, the original uh, Pet Cemetery is awesome. I love to watch that.
oh
Um,
yeah.
I'm trying to think. There was one more movie, and I can't.
Oh, you know what other one, dude? The Blob, the remake of the Blob, the 1988 one, dude. That movie's amazing.
Hmm, the original House on the Haunted Hill, the old black and white one with Vincent Price.
Oh, yes, dude.
That's my jam. I love that movie. I own that
I
movie.
like
My
that.
grandma showed me that movie when I was so little. Um,
I like that movie a lot, dude.
it's so good. A lot of like the old like William Castle kind of movies are just a lot of fun. Because it's sort of like taking those universal monsters and just having fun with them. Essentially, you're taking that kind of aesthetic and just having a lot of fun with it.
I like anything with Vincent Price in it.
Oh hell yeah, Vincent
That's
Price
so
is
good.
so good. You know, House on the Haunted Hill, The Bat, House of Wax, Last Man on Earth, all amazing Vincent Price movies. And then all the Edgar Allan Poe stories that he did also.
Vincent Price was the original Will Smith. I Am Legend.
Oh well, yeah, that's the Last Man on Earth. Um, I mean, Vincent Price also does the rap in Thriller, in Michael Jackson's Thriller.
And he does this creepy laugh, which
Mhm.
used to scare me as a small child.
I remember watching Edward Scissorhands and not realizing that was Vincent Price for the longest time. because he was so much different. Because he was like this really nice, sweet old man in Edward Scissorhands, and I'm so used to seeing him as this like really
Yeah.
evil piece of shit in every single other movie he does.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, House on the Haunted Hill, 13 Ghosts, the one with Matthew Lillard is a really fun one to watch.
Yeah, I like that movie.
Is there like, what would you say is like your quintessential number one movie that you would want anyone watching or listening to watch this Halloween?
That's tough. I'm tell everybody to watch the original Halloween. There's nothing that can sum up the season and the feeling of the movie, and then that movie. Like, that is the essential Halloween movie. Essential.
Mm,
Funny that it takes place during this time of year.
yeah. I got two. Trick or Treat is definitely one of them. Because that movie just oozes Halloween. Like, it feels like Halloween. The whole movie is just in spirit of that. Second one is The Little Vampire, because not enough people watch The Little Vampire, and that movie needs so much more love than it gets. With little Jonathan Lipnicki, like, you know.
The Little Vampire.
Hell yeah.
That breaks out the Little Vampire.
Yeah, dude. If anyone listening or watching has not seen The Little Vampire,
we're never gonna stop this podcast.
What?
We're never gonna stop doing this podcast because of what just happened. We're never stopping. We're not stopping until we get to Little Vampire.
Little Vampire is a cinema classic. It goes The Little Vampire, Godfather Part 2, Scarface.
Oh my goodness.
In terms of greatest acting achievements, it goes Jonathan Lipnicki in The Little Vampire, Jonathan Lipnicki in Like Mike, Robert De Niro in Raging Bull.
Did you fucking say Like Mike, bro?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, dude. What is wrong with you?
Dude, Like Mike is another, you know, I'm surprised Like Mike isn't on the Criterion Collection yet.
It's funny, that's how I feel about Little Giants.
Oh my god, now that's a great movie.
I love that movie, dude. Man, we could do a whole thing on these fucking 90s Disney movies. Because they're all great.
Oh yeah. Do do like the fucking like the Big Green.
Yeah, I even like that movie, bro. Heavyweights is my shit.
Heavyweights is good. The Sandlot was always like my number one.
Sandlot will always be the best, yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But yeah, we will definitely do The Little Vampire at some point because
I can't wait.
Because that movie is a masterpiece. How it did not win all the Oscars, I have no idea.
I have no idea either. I don't know. I've never fucking seen this movie.
You've never seen The Little Vampire? Oh my god.
Nah, bro.
So The Little Vampire is about Jonathan Lipnicki and his family moved to Scotland for his dad's job because his dad works on like a golf course or something. And Jonathan Lipnicki makes friends with a little vampire, and they have to try and like evade this vampire hunter that keeps trying to kill them.
Yeah, we're gonna do this movie.
It's such a good movie. There's flying cows.
Man, I feel like next you're gonna be having me watch the Lizzie McGuire movie, son.
Not the Lizzie McGuire movie. Have you ever seen a movie called True Confessions though? It was a Disney Channel original movie. Like no one knows about this movie, and I keep thinking that like I'm going crazy. But whenever I look it up, it's like it is a real movie. It's True Confessions is it's Shia LaBeouf, and Shia LaBeouf plays like a mentally disabled character, and his sister wants to enter some sort of like video contest where she talks about how she helps her brother. That movie is one of the saddest movies ever. Shia
Oh,
LaBeouf cries in like every scene. And like there's one scene where like Shia LaBeouf is like trying to like fly a kite and his kite won't stay up and he's like screaming at the kite. And like while he's crying, like his sister's name is True. She's like, well, maybe, maybe it's the wind or something. And Shia's character is like, it's not the wind's fault, it's the kite's fault. Stupid kite must be retarded. And it's so sad. And this is a Disney movie.
holy crap.
Disney Channel original movie. Yeah. The saddest movie ever.
Then like 20 years later, he did that movie where it was like opposite.
Oh, with Peanut Butter Falcon?
Yeah, dude, that shit was so good.
Yeah, that's a great movie. I love Peanut Butter Falcon.
The best.
So I think we've kind of gone off topic enough. I think that I think that might be the end of this episode.
Everybody's gonna love our rambling.
Anyone that's watching, watch The Little Vampire.
Yeah. What he said, I don't fucking know. I've never seen this movie ever in my life. I know what it is. I've never watched it. I know what it is.
You gotta watch it. But all right, thanks everyone for watching, for listening. Film Section Podcast, Episode 6. Next week we are doing House of the Devil, you said?
Yes, sir.
Next week we are doing House of the Devil, and I think that's it, right?
Yeah, that's it. We're out of here.
All right. See you guys next week.
Peace.